Today we are going to solve maths and physics questions from IMAT past paper 2014, and our 53rd question is a book of mass 0.40 kg. So mass of the book is given to us, rests on horizontal surface with which it has coefficient of dynamic friction of 0.50. So coefficient of dynamic friction is given to us. Okay, if this book is now pushed by an external horizontal force which is of 10 Newton, what will be its acceleration immediately after it has started to move? So we are supposed to find the acceleration, right? And what is given to us, right? Let's write that data first. The mass of the book is given to us, okay, and that is how much? 0.40 kg. Then what else is given to us? Coefficient of dynamic friction. Coefficient of dynamic friction means uk, right? This is not u, this is mu k. Okay, mu is the coefficient of friction, and coefficient of dynamic friction is mu k. Okay, so mu k is given to us, which is 0.50. And then what else is given to us? An external force. External force means applied force is given to us. Okay, so applied force is given to us, which is 10 Newton, right? They have asked us to find this acceleration, so now we have gotten our data, right? Now see, they have given us mu k, they have given us coefficient of dynamic friction, so we must write here the formula for friction, right? So frictional force equals mu k, which is the coefficient of dynamic friction, into normal. Normal is nothing. Normal is the force which is applied vertically on a body. Okay, so this force is nothing but it is the perpendicular force which is applied on the body. Nothing. Normal is also a force. Okay, it has also the unit of Newton. So for finding the frictional force, we are supposed to initially, we have already coefficient of dynamic friction, right? We are supposed to find normal first. And for finding this normal force, of course, for finding the force of anything, right, we have the formula called force equals mg. Here we are finding normal force, right? So normal equals mass, and since now this is the vertical force, so acceleration would be here gravitational acceleration, right, which is g. So mg is the formula for weight, mg is the formula for normal as well. So mass is given to us of the book, which is 0.40. Gravitational acceleration we already know, 10 meter per second square, right? So now of course 0.40 into 10 would be 4.00, right? So 4.0 Newton is the normal force we have gotten. Now we can find frictional force from here, right? So frictional force would be what? Frictional force is mu k into normal. So mu k into normal equals, the value for mu k is 0.50. And you know what, here we have gotten our normal force, which is 4 Newton. So 4 into 0.5 is 2, right? Because if you take the half of 4, 0.5 is half, right? So if you take the half of 4, it is 2. So 2 Newton we have gotten, which is frictional force we have, right? This is the frictional force we have gotten. FF means frictional force. Okay, FF means frictional force. Now we are supposed to find the acceleration, and acceleration is nothing. If I write the formula for force again in order to find my acceleration now, so my force, basically they have given us applied force as well, right? So in order to find the net force, we have to basically subtract the frictional force from the applied force, right? So applied force is 10 Newton and the frictional force we have just gotten is 2 Newton. So 10 Newton minus 2 Newton is what we get. 8 Newton. Okay, so 8 Newton is the F net force. Now we are supposed to find force, acceleration, right? So F net equals ma. This is the formula for finding the force. We are supposed to find acceleration here, not force. So let's drive the formula a bit for acceleration. So acceleration equals F net per unit mass. Acceleration equals F net is 8 Newton, right? So 8 per unit. Mass of the book is 0.40, right? So this point, when is removed, there are two values after this point, so two zeros will be added in the numerator. Zero cancel with the zeros. 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8, and 0 of course. So 20 meter per second square is of course the unit of acceleration. So 20 meter per second square is the acceleration we have gotten, which is D option, right? So this is the explanation for our very first MCQ. Okay, 53rd. Now we are going to solve 54th question. This is the most interesting question I've found until now. So an ornamental thermometer. An ornamental thermometer is nothing, but it is also known as Galileo thermometer. Okay, it is nothing but it contains number of spheres of hollow colored gases. Okay, it contains spheres, circles representing different temperatures immersed in a column of ethanol. Okay, a particular sphere X rises from the bottom to top. Okay, this one we are talking about right away. So to top of the column of liquid when the temperature falls below the value it represents. Which statement best explains why the sphere rises when the temperature falls? So they are asking us nothing, but they are just asking us that when the temperature of this ethanol is falling, okay, these spheres are going up. Why is this so? Why is this happening? So let's take the concept here. See, the temperature of ethanol is falling, right? If the temperature of the ethanol is falling, what would be the effect on the density? See, density is nothing but density is mass per unit volume, or you can say how tightly the packed molecules are, is what we call how dense that molecule is, how much density does that molecule has, right? So density is mass per unit volume. If temperature is falling, if temperature is volume, will the volume of that particular thing increase or decrease? Will that volume of the particular thing would be increase or decrease? Of course that would be decreased, right? Temperature is falling. Temperature is falling means now the molecules are coming um, to each other, right? Are being very tightly packed to each other. For instance, this I have my any matter, okay, I have given temperature to it, or I am taking temperature out of it, so their molecules will now come very tightly with each other, right? So very tightly with each other means now it would have less volume as well. So less volume. If volume is less, since density is inversely proportional to volume, so if volume is decreasing, density should be increased, right? So if temperature is decreased, volume is decreased, right? And if volume is decreased, since density is inversely proportional to it, so density is increased. So from here, what conclusion we have drawn is density of ethanol. Okay, density of ethanol increases. Increases. Okay, from here we drove this conclusion. Now let's take the example of the spheres, okay? For instance, let's talk about the sphere which has temperature of 22 degrees centigrade. Now see, if I compare this sphere with other three spheres, it has the highest temperature, right? So it has temperature that is very highest, means it has increased of temperature. And if the temperature increases, for instance, this is the matter I have started given temperature to that matter, right? So now the molecules will go far away, and since the molecules will go far away, its volume would be increased. So if temperature is increased, volume is increased. And you must have studied about the law, right? We have Charles law. Charles law says volume is directly proportional to temperature. So when temperature increases, volume of course increases. So this relation you must know. So temperature increases, volume increases. But if volume increases, temperature would be density would be decreased, right? So volume is increased, since density is inversely proportional to it, so density of this molecule increases, right? So density of this particular thing increases, not increases. If volume increases, I'm sorry, let me correct myself, temperature increases. If temperature increases, according to Charles law, temperature is directly proportional to volume, so volume also increases. And since when volume increases, the density decreases. Okay, so here we have density decreased. So density of this sphere, I can draw the conclusion from here, right? Density of this sphere is less than the density of the ethanol, right? The density of the sphere is less than the density of ethanol. This is why this sphere has risen from bottom to top. So this is mainly the reason of rising of spheres, right? Because the temperature falls. If the temperature falls, the volume also falls of ethanol. If volume of ethanol falls, density of ethanol increases. And if density of ethanol increases, okay, and density of, you know what, all these spheres is smaller, right? Density of ethanol is greater than all the density of the spheres. That's why spheres are increasing. This is mainly the reason, right? So let's read the option. The mass of the sphere has decreased. No, it's nothing to do about the mass of the sphere. The pressure exerted by the liquid has increased. No, we haven't talked about pressure yet, right? The volume of the gas inside the sphere has increased. The volume of gas inside the sphere has increased. No, we haven't talked about that as well. Because this, of course, this is happening. Okay, if I say volume increase, of course volume of the gas inside this container increases. But know this thing, this is not mainly the reason. Okay, the main reason is increasing of the density of the ethanol, right? So the density of the liquid means ethanol, so density of the liquid has increased. Yes, this is the main reason that we were looking for in order to find an answer. So this is the correct option we have gotten, right? So I hope this question was easy, not difficult at all. Now we are at our 55th question. It's interesting. What is the equation of the straight line which passes through, okay, coordinate points are given to us and is perpendicular to this. So of course, for finding the perpendicular line, we are supposed to find the slope of this equation, this given equation. Okay, so this given equation is 4y plus 3x equals 8. We are supposed to find the slope of it. And in order to write this in the standard line equation, which is y equals mx plus c, I have to segregate y, right, from this equation. So plus 3x is of positive on the left hand side. When it will go on the right hand side, it would be negative, right? So 4y equals minus 3x plus 8, right? I have to segregate y. I have to make my y very alone in the sentence, right? In the equation, sorry. So y equals, this 4 would be divided with these two terms, right? So minus 3x by 4 plus 8 by 4 is 2, right? So I'm writing directly 2. So this is the standard form of the equation I have made. Now from here, what is my slope? See, this m is my slope, right? This m is the slope we have. So this m we have to find. So if I compare this equation, y equals y, right? This m equals to minus 3 by 4. Minus 3 by 4. So from here we have gotten our slope, which is minus 3 by 4. Now see, we are supposed to find the perpendicular line, and the slope of perpendicular line, slope of perpendicular line is negative reciprocal. You have to take the negative of that value and then reciprocal of that value. Reciprocal means you have to make your numerator as denominator and denominator as numerator. So that is reciprocal, right? Reciprocal of that value. Okay. So of course you have to take the negative and reciprocal of it. This is entire value is of negative. When I take negative of it, it would be positive, right? Negative, negative, positive. So positive, and if I take the reciprocal of this value, so my numerator now would become denominator, okay? So my numerator is 3, now it would become my denominator, and my denominator now would become numerator, which is 4. So the slope of my new line that is perpendicular to this given line is 4 by 3. Now we are supposed to find the slope of these all the lines in order to find whether the slope comes out to be plus 4 by 3, right? So if I make the standard form of it, what would it come? I have to make the standard format of it. So this minus 4 is when will go on the right hand side would be positive, right? So 3y equals positive 4x plus 18. I have to segregate my y. So of course I have to divide this 3 by both sides. So 4 by 3x, and when 18 divided by 3 is 6, right? So 6. 4 by 3, I was supposed to find this slope. So from here if I say this is my slope mx, right? So m is the slope, so 4 by 3 is my slope. So this can be my answer. This can be my answer. We are not sure yet said that this is our answer. No, of course this can be our answer. Now see, if I take this negative 3x on the right hand side, it would be plus 3x, and 4 would be divided by the entire value, then it would be plus 3 by 4. Plus 3 by 4. Our slope is 4 by 3, not a 3 by 4. So this cannot be our answer. Remove it, right? If we talk about this plus 4x, when it will go on the right hand side, it would be minus 4x and would be divided by 3. So minus 4 by 3. We have to get plus 4 by 3, not minus 4 by 3. So this is wrong answer as well. If I take D option, so minus 4x, when it will go on the right hand side, will be plus 4x. Plus 4 would be divided by 3, so plus 4 by 3. This can again be our answer as well. Let's take last option. So when it will go on the right hand side, minus 4x, minus 4 by 3 would be slope here. So minus 4 by 3 we don't want, we want positive 4 by 3, right? So this E cannot be a right answer as well. Now we have gotten our two equations that can be our answer, right? That can be the perpendicular equation to this given line. Now what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to put these coordinate points here, and we are just supposed to see whether these points are applied on the given equation or not. When they are applied on the given equation, our answer would be that particular equation. So taking this equation first, we have 3y minus 4x equals 18. Okay, on the we have to substitute minus 6 instead of x and 2 instead of y, right? So 3 instead of y, 2 minus 4 instead of x minus 6 equals, it must be equal to 18, right? So let's see if it equals to 18. 3 2s are 6, minus minus plus 4 6 are is 24 equals 18, and 24 plus 6 is 30. 30 is not equal to 18. So this A option cannot be a right answer as well. So now A option is deducted. Now we are only left with our answer is option D, right? So D is the correct answer. Let's see whether the D is right answer or not, or we are just supposing it, right? So 3 instead of y we are supposed to put 2, right? Minus 4 instead of x we are supposed to put minus 6. It must be equal to 30, right? So 30. 3 2s are 6, minus minus plus 4 6 are 24. It must be equals to 30. So 6 plus 24 equals to 30. Yes, so 30 equals 30. This satisfies our equation. which means option D is the correct answer. Option D is the equation of the line which is perpendicular to our given equation. Okay, let's move towards 56th question. It is again very interesting question and very easiest question here in this entire paper. So let's write this entire thing as it is once. 8 into 10 to the power minus 5 by under root 1.6 into 10 to the power 7 into 1.2 into 10 to the power 3 power 2. Now we are just supposed to simplify this. We are just supposed to evaluate this, right? So this is again very interesting. Numerator we can write as it is. Let me change the color of the pen so that it becomes very easy for you to understand this question, right? So numerator would definitely be same. So 8 into 10 to the power minus 5. In denominator, we can do one thing, right? I can make this 1.6 as 16 by moving this point on the right hand side, and when I move the point from left to right, so my one power is deducted, right? So now this is not 10 power 7 but this would be 10 power 6, right? Into, I can make it 12 as well, right? So 12 into, so this, now my power would become 2, right? Because I moved one point on the right hand side. So 2 and whole power 2. Now we are just supposed to simplify it and it's very easy. So 8 into 10 to the power minus 5. When I take 16 out of this, under root is 4, right? So 4 into, so 10 power 6, and this under root means 1 power 2, right? So 10 power 6 by 2, 10 power 6 by 2 is 3, right? So 10 power 3 we have gotten, into 12 square, 12 12 is 144, right? And 10 power 2 into 2 is 4. Okay, so now this 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 6, right? 4 twos are 6 we have gotten. And when this 144 multiply with this 2, so 2 fours are 8, 2 fours are 8, 2 ones are 2, into, now we have to do with the powers, right? So 10 power, because these two things are multiplying with each other, so these power would be added. So minus 5 plus 4, and since this is in the, I'm sorry, this is in the division, so this would be subtracted, right? So minus 3. So 288 into 10 to the power minus 4 plus 4 is minus 1, minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4, right? Now see, if I make my point is here, right? If I make my point move on the left hand side, if I make it 2.88, I have moved my point to the left hand side 2 points, right? Into, so I have to now deduct 2 from it, so minus 2. So this is the final answer we have gotten, 2.88 into 10 to the power minus 2. So B is the correct option we have gotten. I hope it was easy, not difficult. And now our 57th question is, 4 individual spheres have radii. So 4 different radii are given to us. What is the sum of their surface areas? So initially we are supposed to find surface area of each sphere, and then we are just supposed to sum those all surface areas, right? So the formula for finding the surface area of the sphere is 4 pi r square. Circumference of the circle is 2 pi r, right? And the surface area of the sphere is 4 pi r square. Now we are initially finding the surface area of a circle which has the radius of r by 2, right? So 4 pi, we have r square, right? So instead of r, we are putting r by 2 and whole square, because r square we have. So 4 pi r square, 2 2s are 4. 4 cancelled with this 4. We are left with pi r square. So one surface area, first surface area that has the radius of r by 2, we have gotten of pi r square. Second sphere has the radius of r, right? So it would have definitely 4 pi. Instead of r, we have to just put r, so r square. So this is the second surface area we have gotten. Now the third surface area of the sphere, which has the radius of 2r. So 4 pi, instead of r we are supposed to put its value, so 2r square, 4 pi, 2 2s are 4, r square, 4 4s are 16 pi r square. So this is the third surface area that we have gotten, right? Let me erase a bit. Okay. Now the fourth sphere has the radius of 3r, right? So 4 pi, instead of r, 3r whole square. 4 pi, 3 3s are 9r square. So 4 9s are, or 9 4s are the same thing, right? 36 pi r square. So now we have gotten all our surface areas. We are just now supposed to sum these all. So pi r square plus 4 pi r square plus 16 pi r square plus 36 pi r square. So 5 pi r square, 5 and 16 is 21, 21 and 36 is 57 pi r square, right? So this is the answer we have gotten. 57 pi r square is the C option. Let's move towards the 58th question. A computer game is on sale for 32 euro. Okay. The price ticket shows that this quote is a reduction of 20% of the original price. What was the original price? So we are just supposed to find the original price. Let's suppose the original price would be 100%, right? So original is what? It would definitely be 100%. 100%. And after reduction is of 20%. So after reduction, what do we get is original reduction is done of 20%. So 100 minus 20 is 80%. Now see, this value is the result of something that had 80% off. So 80% of that particular things equals 32 euro, right? So 32 euro. Now see, 80. When we remove percentage sign, we get 100 in the division. Off means multiplication. Into x equals 32. 0 cancel with this 0. 4s are 8, 5s are 10. So 4x by 5 equals 32. 5 is dividing here, when we go there it will be multiplied. So 5 2s are 10, 1 here, 5 3s are 15 and 1 plus 16. X equals 160 by 4. 4 1s are 4, 4s are 16 and 0 of course. So 40 euro is the original price of that computer game, which means option E is the right answer. Now we are on the second last question, which is 59. An earthened magnet is near a bar of material which is seen to be repelled by a magnet. Okay, what could the bar of material be? Okay, we what it says, an earthen magnet, a magnet force opposes here. Of course, it has north pole, it has south pole as well, right? So they say when it is brought near to something else or a bar, okay, it is repelled. So of course, when it this magnet is brought near to a bar, that bar must be magnet as well, right? That bar must be magnet as well. For instance, if it is south, so it would have south, it would have north, so south south, like repels like, right? So this bar must be magnetic in nature as well. This bar must be magnet as well in order to be repelled by this given earthened magnet. Okay, so we are just supposed to find that material. So that material would be nothing but that would be magnet as well. Now we just know this, right? Now let's read the options. A bar of unmagnetized soft iron. See, soft iron is magnetic. Soft iron, of course, is magnetic, but it is not a magnet. Being magnetic and being a magnet are both entirely different things. Okay, so soft iron, despite is magnetic, but it is not a magnet. When a magnet comes near to it, okay. So for instance, this is my north, this is my south. When this magnet comes near to this soft iron, this basically is attracted. This basically is attracted because soft iron becomes temporarily magnetized. The end nearest to the magnetic pole becomes the opposite pole. So, for instance, if we have north here, this nearest pole will be then south. It would make itself an opposite pole. So, of course, opposite attracts. So, this would be attracted, not repelled. So, our A option cannot be an answer, right? Same goes for unmagnetized cobalt as well. Cobalt has that same property. For instance, it is magnetic but not magnet itself, because when it is brought near to a magnet, its nearest pole basically changes itself to a opposite pole, and because of that opposite pole, it is attracted towards the magnet, not repelled. Okay, so if I talk about third option, a car of electrostatically charged copper. See, charged copper. When charges move, they basically produce magnetic field and they behave as magnet. But when there is only charged copper, when there is only charges available, when they are not moving, when charges are not flowing, when they are not moving, that is not the magnet. So this is not our option at all. Okay. If I talk about fourth one, a bar of magnetized steel, a bar of magnetized steel. Now see, steel is something that can be a permanent magnet. Okay, it has north and south pole. So steel is something that has north and south poles already. If nearby pole is same as the magnet, repulsion occurs. For instance, this was my original earthened magnet, right? And because this magnetized steel is also a permanent magnet, south north, so of course when it has of course like poles facing each other, so like repels, right, so this south would repel this south, and because of this thing, this magnet would be repelled, right? So this is our right answer. If I talk about a bar of electrostatically charged aluminum, again it is charged aluminum. There are charged particles, but we are not sure whether those charged particles are flowing, whether they are producing current, and current produces magnetic field. This we know, so this is not our right answer as well. So only right option that we have is option C, a bar of magnetized steel, because it is a permanent magnet. So it already has north and south poles. Now we are on the last question, 16th. The circuit shown contain three identical resistors. So it has basically three identical resistors. Okay. Two ammeters, X and Y. So X and Y are the ammeters. Okay. X and Y are the ammeters, and Z is the voltmeter. Okay, know this thing. Z is the voltmeter which measures the voltage. Ammeter are the meters that measures the current, right? And resistors are nothing but they stop the flow of current. The internal resistance of the battery is negligible. Okay, leave that thing. Now, which option shows the readings on the 3 meters? We are just supposed to find the readings on X, Y, which means X and Y are ammeters. So we are just supposed to find two current values, because X and Y are the ammeters. They would measure the value of current, right? So we'll have two current values and we have to find Z as well. And Z would give us voltage value, right? Because it is the voltmeter. Excuse me. So basically, if I, measure the total resistance for now. So these both resistors are in parallel, right? They are not in series, but they are parallel. In series, the equivalent resistors are basically added, R1, R2, up to so on. But in parallel, what happens? They divide. Okay, they divide the work, right? They divide the work. So of course there are two resistors. Okay, so R by 2 would be. And how much resistance we have is 4, right? So 4 by 2. In parallel we have gotten 2 ohm, and this is of course a single resistor in series, so this is counted as whole, means 4 ohm. So total resistance, how much we have is total resistance. This 2 ohm is from parallel connection, right? And this 4 ohm is the series connection. So total is what? 6 ohm of resistance we have. Now total current, how much we have? We can measure that by Ohm's law, right? So what Ohm's law basically says, that your voltage is directly proportional to current, and when that directly proportional is removed, we get is equal to certain constant, which is R, right? I. We are supposed to find total current, so I equals V by R, right? Total voltage is given to us, which is 12, right? So 12. Total resistance we have gotten is 6. So 6. 12 by 6 is 2, right? 6 ones are 6, 6 twos are 12. So 2 ampere is the total current we have gotten. 2 ampere is the total current. So if I talk about this Y ammeter, this Y ammeter is, you know what? An ammeter which is connected in this entire circuit. So the total current we have gotten is 2 ampere. So this ammeter would give us the reading of 2 right? 2 ampere. Okay, fine. And now we are supposed to find X, right? So X would give us, you know what, the reading of 1 ampere. Because when this 2 ampere would be passed by these resistors, two resistors, so 2 would be divided by 2, right? So 2 by 2 would be 1. So 1 ampere would be passed out of these two resistors. So 1 ampere. Okay. So now we have gotten the value of Y, which is 2 ampere, X value, which is 1 ampere. Now we are supposed to find the Z. Now see, Z is voltmeter. It would have the voltage, right? And for finding the voltage, formula we have is V is equal to IR. IR. Current we have is 2 ampere, right? Total current we have is 2 ampere, and resistance we have is 4 ampere of it, right? So 4. 2 into 4 is 8 volt, right? So 8 volt we have gotten reading of this Z. So X is 1 ampere, Y is 2 ampere, and Z is 8 ampere. What answer do we have is X is 1, Y is 2, and Z is 8, which means option C is the right answer, right? So we have solved all our questions from IMAT past paper 2014.